Welcome back to the studio. How are you, man?
All right, good. Yeah, good. All right, good. I'm going to come back in and do that again. Looks busy in here. What have you been up to? All right, let me do that again.
Welcome back to the studio. Really, really busy, as you can see. That's why it's a complete mess, which is a good thing. Yeah, I've been sending out so much post. It's really ramped up. I don't think I've ever been busier. Still doing the giant pills. I think it must have been a couple of months ago I launched the happy pills. Then I added another couple of different designs. So they've been online. So there's like 4 different ones you can buy. So I've got heart pills on there, printing happy pills on here. So these have basically been printing like non-stop for the last 3 months or something.
I think we need a bit of happiness in our lives at the moment.
I think that's it, yeah. They've been really popular, and maybe it is because of that. Maybe people need a little extra happiness. Once they come off the printer, kind of go into these trays, then we go through and check them. Sometimes they need like a little bit of cleaning up, like over here. It's kind of like both a really simple thing and a complex thing that sort of all come together. Going way back, I made these little social media pills that were just really small and had them in a little display case. And then I made some giant versions, and they were cast in silicone molds in resin. They were quite time consuming, took a long time to make.
Boring.
I kind of tuned the 3D printer so that I could get like a good enough print. So the pill is 3D printed. This is custom design. The plastic front, I designed this from scratch. So this all goes together into the final kind of like, I've put that in the wrong way. And then again, designed these boxes, and they've got little hidden details. They've got braille on here, like a real sort of medicine box, and a little rabbit silhouette embossed, sort of hidden on the back. I kind of like how all those different components come together to make the finished piece. The thing I launched at the end of last month was the departure board. So that's like the mini departure board. And that was based off an idea. This was the original version. I did this for an exhibition, I think 2019, so quite a while ago now. I think this was only ever an edition of about like 15. I did several different space-themed artworks. One was like a NASA boarding card to look like a sort of, you know, domestic flight, with this idea of everyone thought we were going to be having like holidays to the moon and that by now. So I kind of thought like, how could I make this more affordable, more accessible version? So that's how I settled on this kind of like singular version. I've done 3 different ones. I've got the moon, Earth, and Mars. The Earth is, I guess, as if you were on another planet already, coming back to Earth, but it's cancelled. Maybe something's gone wrong. The moon one is boarding because we had a recent trip around the moon. And then the Mars one is delayed because I think they keep saying they're going to go to Mars, but who knows when it will happen.
How do they come together? What's the physical process of making them?
Yeah, so if you have a look at this, I've actually got a couple here that are just... So this is only part of it, but I like these. It's like taking stuff out of the oven, like freshly baked. So yeah, that's the outer frames. So it's made of 2 3D printed parts. So you've got like the outer frame, this inner part drops in. You've got the lenticular print, which I designed and then had these manufactured. This goes inside. And then I think with the lenticular print and that little bit of depth, it has a really good illusion of sort of looking like a real LED screen, but also kind of a bit retro, could be from the 70s. They don't take too long to make. It's just, I can only print a couple at a time on the 3D printers. It takes about 3 hours to print a couple of frames. As these are finished, I check them over, assemble it, and then it comes down the little production line. I basically just then give everything a once over and check it's all okay. So like with a lot of my stuff now, like the happy pills, the lucky rabbits, I've been putting a lot of focus on the packaging as well, because I think it kind of like ties everything together. And then that's another one that's ready to go out into the post room and be sent out. Actually, yeah, let me show you this box. Like with any new idea, I usually have kind of like a fully formed idea in my head, but then yeah, you need to do lots of prototyping. So all of these frames, these are like all slightly different versions of what became the final piece. Anything I work on, it always kind of ends up looking like this, like 20 prototypes to kind of like reach the final thing. But that's just, yeah, part of the process. I haven't sent any to space yet, but it would be cool to have one on the space station. This is the little lucky rabbit drawer. They take quite a long time to print because they're printed solid. because it's a small item, I thought it'd be nice for it to be printed solid. They take about 22 hours to print a tray of those. So I just put that on, it prints overnight. The next day I swap it. And I just keep trying to sort of mix and match the colors and find different printer filaments to get these different effects. This is a really bad example because it's a really battered box. I had these in my bag. I was gonna hide them somewhere and they just sort of got smashed in my bag. But yeah, these are little like mystery blind boxes. So I really like the design of the box, which I spent ages designing. And it's like a really fun, like affordable thing. And it will have one of the rabbits in there, but you don't know what one you're getting. It's like a surprise kind of thing. Let me show you up here. So I had 100 of these made in the jewelry quarter in Birmingham. So they're cast in solid bronze. They were all individually numbered. And I've just been hiding them over the last few years. And it's really cool that they've never been for sale. You can only get one if you find one. I'll hide it somewhere and I'll share a picture on Instagram or a little video, and I usually have the coordinates. I think pretty much the person will normally message me on Instagram or they'll share a video of them finding it. For whatever reason, I have quite a lot of people that follow me in Paris. I think we hit about 5. As soon as I hid one, people were anticipating where I was going to be next, and they were kind of like hot on my heels trying to find the next one. And I hid a couple in Las Vegas, like out in the desert, and that one got found. But I think that took the longest. It took about 2 weeks. So I hid it, never heard anything. About 2 or 3 weeks later, someone messaged me saying like, oh, I drove out to the desert and got it. So that was cool. I had an exhibition in Birmingham about a year ago, and Joe Lycett came along. I kind of knew him before, but I think, yeah, he really liked the exhibition. And then, yeah, he is gonna have an exhibition at Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery this summer. He's doing loads of his own work and he's collaborating with a few artists as well. I won't reveal the whole thing, but this is the project I'm working on with Joe Lycett. Camera, screen, Joe has written custom jokes for this piece. And he was here the other day, we were filming them.
Oh, okay.
And I'm excited because when he first asked me if I wanted to do a collaboration, I obviously really wanted to, but I didn't really know how we would kind of like combine our styles and make sort of like a cohesive collaboration. So it took me quite a while to think of it. And then I kind of pitched him this idea, which I wasn't sure if he was going to go for, but he did. He really liked it, so it should be exciting. I can't wait to see it sort of in situ. So the PCB, this is like another kind of revisited thing. So I made this version in 2018. I've always really liked circuit boards and how intricate they are. And they're often hidden away kind of in computers and in machines, so people don't really get to see them. But their design is really amazing. As far as I'm aware, I hadn't seen anyone else kind of use an actual circuit board as like an art medium. So these were actually made in a real circuit board factory. And I had to kind of explain to them, yeah, it's just for an artwork, because they were asking about testing it and like the function of the circuit board. So this is a combination of The Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is one of my favorite paintings. And it was one of the paintings that I don't think I've ever seen it in real life. Like a lot of really famous artworks, they're only famous because they've been spread digitally. So this kind of represents like a digital version. So yeah, this was the edition I made in 2018. And I think there was only 50 of these. I think it was a limited edition of 50. I don't normally do this, but I decided to bring it back on a smaller scale. So it's about half the size. I've reproduced this smaller, more affordable version. And yeah, these have been really popular. We've been sending these out. The Drug Lord crosses, I don't know when I made the first one, but like over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. It's quite a personal piece. I've got a couple of different pieces I've made. That I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was 18, so relied quite heavily on medicine and sort of like scientific medical technology to keep me alive. When I was younger, I had this kind of feeling that, you know, without that, or if I was born in another time, I wouldn't still be around. So it's this kind of idea of like this mix of, you know, people saying have faith and stuff. So this is like a mix of like faith and like science. I've made different versions of that over the years and it's become kind of like a familiar icon. I really wanted to try and make a kind of smaller, more affordable version, which is how I landed on this. This is like a mix of techniques. So it's a 3D printed frame It's printed on the back, on the UV printer with the details. It's filled with like a random assortment of capsules, and it's got a laser cut clear perspex front. Because I was printing it in 2 parts, I realized you could kind of like mix and match the front and back, and you could come up with some really nice color combinations. Once it was assembled and had the pills in, it goes in this custom box. They were available on the website, but you didn't know what color you were going to get. It was kind of like a mystery. And some people like that and some people don't like that. So I decided to make 5 solid colors. Sometimes I think people don't like too much choice, or if you've got too much choice, you just kind of get overwhelmed and don't end up choosing anything. So I kind of like leaving it up to fate. So I like the lucky rabbits being a mystery, and I like the crosses being a mystery. But there are now a few options if people definitely want to choose their own color. Back in the shelf. This was just a small thing, but ever since I've been making and selling art and shipping it out, I've always tried to include a couple of stickers in the order. So anything you order on the website, it comes free with this little holographic sticker sheet. But yeah, it's just those little details that I really enjoy, and I think people appreciate as well. But yeah, thanks for dropping by, and I love sharing what I've been working on, but I'm probably not going to be as active because I'm hopefully going to take a couple of months off as we're about to have our 2nd child. But I also want to keep things moving at the studio, so I'm sure I'll be popping in and out. I'll see you in the next video.